What's happening, guys? This is the Grand Master of Faster, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages. In this episode, we are finally going to complete this godforsaken crown dungeon and get the 5th essence of time. There are only 3 things left that we need to collect in the crown dungeon, and those would be the last small key, the boss key, and of course the essence. Now what you gotta do here is you can't jump up to that ledge. So what you gotta do is you have to use the Cane of Samaria to create a block, hop on that, and then hop up. And like I said in the previous video, as much as I hate this dungeon, I have to give credit where credit is due. The developers thought of very creative uses for the Cane of Samaria. Okay, have a couple of crystal platforms to navigate. And in we go with a puzzle that had me stuck for God knows how long when I first played this game. Notice that whenever you push a statue, the other one moves in the same direction. So what you have to do is you have to create a block in front of one of the statues so that it won't move when you push the other one. I remember when I first played this game, I came into this room without the dungeon item. And it took me roughly about an hour and a half before I figured out I didn't have what was necessary to complete the room and get the small key like I'm doing right now. I had no idea that the dungeon item was something that could create blocks. Because keep in mind, I didn't play A Link to the Past before this game, so I had no knowledge of the Cane of Samaria. And wait a minute, I just remembered something. I gotta shoot this crystal switch because there are blue platforms on the other side of the staircase. So, once again, I'm having a pretty good time so far. Yesterday, as of the date of this video was being recorded, I actually went to the state fair, which is the state fair in the state that I live in. And it was really, really cool. I had a very good time. I caught some really awesome Pokemon, including Diglett and Clefairy, in terms of Pokemon Go. By the way, I know I'm going to run into a pit without jumping first. But anyway, what we want to do is we want to head to the mini-boss room, and then into the room above it, because there is a staircase at the top of this room that will lead us to the boss key. Now, as if you remember, I went down this staircase only to find out that I couldn't actually get into the room because I didn't have another key. Don't you just love seeing me fail all the time? Anyway, let's hop on these platforms, wait until we go, and then down we go! Yay! Alright, we've got some more Moblins to deal with. Once again, as I said in the previous video, I think the Great Moblin thought there was some kind of treasure in here, and that's why he sent many of his underlings to go investigate it. And I guess you could argue that the Essence and the Cane of Samaria were treasures in their own right, but now they belong to Link, because Link is the hero, and heroes are awesome, because evil is dumb. Alright, now, once again I have to make that really awkward shot with my seed shooter. Not even close. There we go. Good. Alright. And yet another Beamos. I'll be so glad to complete this dungeon because not only will I have completed one of my least favorite dungeons in the game, I won't have to deal with those annoying Beamos anymore. But anyway, let us go through this locked door to meet a ball and chain trooper. And, oh, dang it, I have to switch the switch again! Once again, not a big fan of crystal switches. Alright, in here we find 50 rupees. I wouldn't mind having a few extra rupees on hand, because after we complete the Crown Dungeon, we're gonna need to spend a fair bit of rupees, because there will be a lot of items for us to collect, and a lot of those items involve us playing games. And you know how the saying goes, you gotta pay to play. Alright, up we go. Now, here we have a very interesting puzzle. We want to activate this owl statue and see what it says. Bring all to me. First things first, let's push all of the yellow statues forward. Next, we're going to want to take care of the blue statues. Alright. And obviously you'll want to have your Cane of Samaria equipped, so as to block any unnecessary... Case in point. I was going to say in needing of blocking any unnecessary blocks that don't need to be moved, and I just confused myself. Alright, push that red block there, create another block. But they're not blocks, they're statues! Ugh. Once again, brain not working very well. Anyway, we want to go here, move this block in front of that statue, push that statue down one more space, and ta-da! We now have the boss key! Very, very nice. So all we have left to do is fight the boss. And I will say this much, the boss of... As much as I hate the Crown Dungeon itself, the boss is pretty interesting. You will see once I actually fight him. It's definitely more of what I like to call a puzzle boss, rather than a fight to the death with a giant monster. Okay, we need to head down here, and that will, that's a shortcut back to the center of the dungeon. Anyway, we want to take care of this moblin, because deactivate the switch again. Ugh. I'm sorry if my commentary is a little lackluster in these videos because of my utter distaste for the Crown Dungeon. But as bad as the Crown Dungeon is, there is one other dungeon in this game that is even worse. And for those of you who have played through Oracle of Ages, you should know full well of what that dungeon is and how much I am dreading it. Anyway, you want to head through the boss door?
It's time for our little game! I break apart. If you can force me back together and blow me away, it ends. But before you do, I shall take a bit of your soul. Now begin!
This is Smog! No, not the dragon. This is Smog, the boss of Crown Dungeon. This is a really interesting fight. As you heard in his dialogue, he pretty much explains how to defeat him. You have to reunite his missing halves and then attack him with your sword. Simple enough, right? Well, here's the thing. The block formations get a little more complicated the more times, the further into the battle you go. I believe there are 4 phases to this fight. But anyway, Smog's only attack is blowing those blue clouds at you. And you can deflect those, and you can knock him away with your sword. Make sure not to touch him directly, otherwise you will get electrocuted. Okay, here is round 3. By the way, that switch right up in the top left corner of the room, if you find it impossible to reunite his missing halves, hitting that switch will reset the phase. Fortunately, it won't reset the battle, thank God. Otherwise, this fight would have been much tougher. But anyway, what we want to do is... Oh! Oh, wait, never mind. They're gonna join. There we go! Okay, that was Phase 3. Now we come to Phase 4. And no surprise, it's the trickiest. Usually what I like to do is I like to focus on reuniting, when there are 3 of them, I like to focus on reuniting at least 2 of them, because the bigger half will move more slowly than the smaller ones, and you can use that to your advantage. But apparently I didn't in that instance. All right. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah, the first 3 phases aren't really that bad. This one can be a little bit tricky because... Oh, come on. Alright, I'll try something different. Okay, there we go. Alright, now what No! Don't go up there! In my practice run, I did this with relatively little trouble. But, he's, being a jerk right now. Alright, what I need to do is I need to... Okay, yeah, that's where I want it to go. Now, one thing that really helps in this fight is patience. I know, most gamers aren't that patient, but, trust me, it really does help if you are patient. Okay. There we go! And that's it! That is the battle! Or is there another phase? No, there isn't! Ugh, sorry if that took a little long, but, yeah, that's one... That fight can get pretty tactical, but the important thing is I beat him. And now, let us proceed to grab the 5th Essence of Time. You got the Sacred Soil, an Essence of Time. All that lies sleeping in the bosom of the earth will know the nourishing warmth of the Sacred Soil. So, with 5 essences in our grasp, we only have 3 more to go. But first, a little word from our friend the Maku Tree. Link, I still hear an essence echoing near Rolling Ridge. Huh? I think someone's come. Well, what do you know? Huh? I was digging a new tunnel and I ended up here. Hey! What are you doing here? Don't you know? Games are the new fad on Rolling Ridge. You should check them out too. That, in my opinion, is the best fad ever, because I have to make a confession. I am obsessed with games. Games of almost every type. Not just video games, but I'm a big tabletop game fan as well. In fact, every Thursday I go to a comic book store for a tabletop board game night with some of my friends in the general area live in the general area, and I always have a blast. But anyway, I salute more reasons why the Gorons are my favorite, one of my favorite races in Hyrule, because they like to play games. And I believe this is where you can get a secret in a linked, version of Oracle of Ages, but if you lift up this rock, you can find a time portal. And I just want to check to see if there is anything over here. There is a piece of heart over there, and we actually can get that right now. In fact, why wait sooner rather than later? Let's go ahead and get that piece of heart. So the first thing we gotta do is we gotta travel back to the past. Uh-oh, back to the past again. How's that for a nice little Cartoon Network reference? Oh, Cartoon Network. In your defense, you have managed to turn things... Never mind! But anyway, what I can do is I can talk to this guy. Finding treasure is so hard. Will you let me hang on to 20 ember seeds and 20 bombs? If I'm lucky and find treasure, I'll give you half. How about it? Yeah, we're gonna have to come back here much, much later, but there will be something waiting for us here. Make no mistake. Anyway, what is in here? Okay. Well, if we dig up this spot of land here, we can get a Gasha seed. So let's go ahead and plant that. And I just wonder where this leads to, because I don't exactly remember this area off the top of my head. It leads to absolutely nothing. Okay, so we're gonna have to travel back to the present once more, because we need to go to the present in order to get to the base of Rolling Ridge. Because as the Maku Tree said, there is one more essence in Rolling Ridge. The good news is that it's at the bottom of Rolling Ridge, meaning we won't have to do any mountain climbing for a while. Okay, so let us head back down the mountain. And this is where we want to go, is it? These stairs go to the base of Rolling Ridge. Yes, this is where we want to go. And I just find it all the more surprising that Gorons are content with enemies running amok in their mountain, because, let's face it, Gorons are freaking strong. They are behemoths. You saw those Gorons trying to rescue the Goron Elder. They were punching through solid rock. Now, this guy mentions the Goron dance. More about that later, but for right now, guess what? Our old friend Maple is back. And check it out, she's riding on a flying vacuum cleaner. Yeah, she'll start riding that when the more you bump into her, which will allow her to pick up items at a quicker rate. But anyway, I really don't have to worry about Maple anymore, mainly because I got that heart piece from her off screen. But anyway, I think now is a good time to end the video. So, next time on Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, we're going to explore more of the Rolling Ridge base and see what kind of games the Gorons have set up for us. Once again, please be sure to leave a like or comment below telling me how I'm doing. I would really, really appreciate that. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel by hitting that big watermark at the bottom right section of the screen. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.